6 young Brits are on the journey of a lifetime. They're heading deep into the North American wilderness. But this is no ordinary trek.
He was having thoughts of beating her up, of punching her in the face.
I just keep seeing it over and over again, him just lying there lifeless at the bottom.
They've all signed up to a radical treatment programme for mental illness.
I want to tap the wall with my elbow.
You might have been born with a stupid voice.
I was.
Because all of them have obsessive-compulsive disorder.
It's impossible to describe what turmoil my brain is in.
The lid, in case my clothes touched it. The flusher.
This is pathetic. This is not how my life should be.
OCD has robbed them of their independence and made living normal lives impossible. They've been unable to get the treatment they need, and they're desperate for help.
My parents have been through so much.
I hate the man I feel I should have been at 22 that I'm not at 22.
He's so pissed off that OCD has robbed him of his life.
So in a last-ditch attempt to reclaim their lives, they're spending 10 days at one of the world's most extreme OCD camps. Last time on Extreme OCD Camp, the group arrived on the northwest coast of America to begin radical treatment for their OCD.
Today, they will be taking actual risks.
Therapist Pete Weiss and Dr. Travis Osborne are OCD experts and are helping all of them overcome their greatest fears.
You ready?
22-year-old Jack has severe contamination OCD. So far, he's been determined to confront his chronic anxiety about germs.
My mouth went dry and my chest was beating. I was sweaty and I felt kind of like I was going to faint.
Drinking from a glass in a restaurant was a massive step forward, but it's not been easy.
It's like...
Youngest of the group is 17-year-old Imogen. She constantly fears that her family will be harmed and that she can only prevent it by avoiding certain foods and tapping things.
It really does scare me, like, if you don't tap that tree, your mum's gonna die.
So far, Pete has convinced Imogen to resist the urge to tap and accept her fears out loud.
Maybe something bad will happen. Oh dear.
It may be painful, but it is progress. Like Imogen, 18-year-old Megan is plagued by thoughts that those she loves will be harmed. She's also been challenged to face her fears out loud.
You're going to get ill.
For the last 12 years, 22-year-old Josh has been ruled by symmetry OCD, which compels him to do everything twice.
I have to touch everything with my left and right hands, my left and right feet, equal amount of times everywhere I go, 24/7.
So far at OCD Camp, Josh has been challenged to see how long he can wait before repeating an action. A record 10 minutes led to a dizzy high. But his next attempt led to a crashing low.
To me, it is like seeing a bus come towards you.
21-year-old Olivia fears being dirty so much she photographs her surroundings to reassure herself they're clean. But the main reason for her fear is the smell.
Some people's biggest fear are getting ill, maybe, or dying. My biggest fear is anything that smells bad.
Good work.
The most complex of the group is 23-year-old Andrew.
My OCD does primarily revolve around avoiding the number 13.
Andrew's severe OCD and fear of the number 13 has crippled his life and ruined his confidence. But so far, it's his low self-esteem that Pete has focused on treating.
I don't even like talking, I sound stupid.
So if you shout, you might be rejected by all of us.
I've always been rejected, yeah.
Yeah.
Little by little, even Andrew is finding a way through.
I'm so hoping that you feel at least a little tiny bit proud of yourself for what you just did.
After 4 days of intensive treatment, the group's toughest challenge is yet to come. They're about to take a trek into the wild. But this is no mini break. The extreme conditions are intended to trigger their OCD, so that Pete and Travis can confront it head on.
I can't really wrap my head around what we're about to do, honestly. To now go and take them out into the woods after everything that we've already done, I just can't really put words to it.
Pete's taken OCD groups camping before, but treating 6 Brits in the wilderness is a first. After a 4-hour ferry ride, the group arrive at Stehekin. Surrounded by mountains, it's a campsite in the sticks. They'll have to get down and dirty, cook for each other, and sleep out in sub-zero temperatures. For the next 3 days, Washington's wilderness will be home. They might be away from civilization, but there's no escaping their OCD.
It is frustrating. You're constantly thinking, you've got to tap that, oh, something bad's going to happen, you've got to tap that, you've got to tap that. It's difficult.
And of course, being in the wild will bring its own challenges.
Hey, you guys, heads up really quick. This is a great wilderness toilet paper. Good texture, lots of fiber. You might want to collect a couple, put them in your pocket. Imogen, you don't look so thrilled. This is better than the real thing, let me tell you.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. We can do campfire here because it has the windscreen in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Let's get warm.
I stepped off the boat. It's incredibly cold. It really hit me that, okay, I'm actually genuinely sleeping outside tonight. I'm actually eating outside.
We're in a very uncontrolled and unpredictable environment.
It doesn't matter that they're cold and uncomfortable out here.
You can't wish away the night. You can't wish away the rain. And for some of them, that triggers their OCD 10 times as much.
Harsh as it may seem, Pete and Travis need the OCD to be triggered so they can treat it.
Could this blow over?
Sure.
I don't like that answer. Can you give me a nicer answer?
How does that feel?
It's cozy. I'm quite warm, actually.
Good, I'm glad.
Oh, it's like a really good massage.
Camp set, preparations begin for dinner.
Good, so put the rice on.
Olivia suffers from an obsessive fear of smells, and tonight she's in charge of cooking for the whole group.
Onions are my favourite vegetable, but I won't cut them unless I'm having a shower straight after, because, like, the smell, like, sometimes they, like, split when you, like, cut them, like, bits jump out. Plus, it's really hard to get the smell off your hands, I find. The thought process that goes through my head is that if an onion touches me, then my hands will smell of onions, then my clothes will smell of onions, and then other people will think I'll smell of onions, and then they'll stay away from me. Or they'll get a bad impression of me, that kind of thing.
But a hot shower isn't an option here, and the group is starving, so Olivia has to power through.
Do you think there's any things to put stuff in, you know, like once it's done, like where to put the like a dish? Yeah.
Michelin quality.
Yeah.
But not everyone is as content as Josh. Jack finds dinner stressful at the best of times, and the great outdoors is making him even more anxious about coming into contact with germs.
The water is just from like a thing down there, like a communal tap. I've not been the first to touch it. I've not been the first to eat from it. I don't know what the label's been used for. I don't know when it's been used. It's like about a 9 out of 10 for me, anxiety-wise.
Jack obsesses about hygiene and how his food is prepared. Pete and Travis want him to take a risk and give up control.
If a hiker came down the trail and asked, why is that guy freaking out about eating a bowl of rice? Why does he look like he's in so much pain? In your words, how would you explain it?
Swap it for a bowl of poison.
Yeah.
literally swapping for a bowl of poison.
Yeah. So when you look in that bowl, you see a bowl of poison.
Yeah, and I don't mean like C as in figure of speech, I mean C. C. Actually see it.
Travis, I don't know about you, but I think he's got two choices, and that's allow himself to be pushed around by this piece of shit disorder, or face it.
You have to kind of decide, like, do you want your life to be about getting sick?
This is going to be your life, where you are succumbing to OCD's wishes. Then that's a choice you could make, right? You could just play it safe, or say, I'm going to take a lot of risks. I'm going to risk that I'm going to get sick because I want what?
Go out of these lot and just eat what they're eating.
Good. What just happened with Jack, the thing that's very profound is that we couldn't control everything out here. It's the food being packed the wrong way. He doesn't know where the pot comes from. He doesn't know where the water comes from. It's all of the combined effect makes all of this a 10 for him to eat. But this is real life for him. And so I think it's good it's happening now where we can support him through it.
Jack's not the only one with a fear involving food. Imogen's OCD doesn't just compel her to tap. She also thinks her family will be harmed if she eats and drinks certain things. The triggers can change, and at the moment, chocolate is one. Just holding a piece is a massive challenge, but Pete wants her to try.
Imagine someone has put a little time bomb in this M&M, and there's like a detonator in this M&M, and they put the bomb in your house where your family are.
It's alright.
And you
Still good.
set off the detonator. Your house and your family are gonna die.
And how do you detonate it?
You have to eat it.
Despite her genuine terror, Imogen is determined to push herself even further.
Just relax. Just relax, don't start yet. Give yourself a second.
That was about 3 seconds, I think.
Yep.
It's a good face.
Yep.
Yep.
What you all have to remember, you guys, is that it's not OCD if you know that the thought is irrational. It's not OCD. If you believed the thought, if you truly believed it, that would mean that you were psychotic or delusional. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When people talk about crazy, that's what they mean.
Imogen is a long way from that.
I agree, so are you.
I'm not so sure on that one. I'm not so sure on that one.
I know you're not. I don't think the rest of us agree.
It's just a little crossover of wires in my brain. It's a pretty rubbish feeling to be so scared of something that you enjoy so much. Normal for me would just be, even if it meant that I could only eat one M&M, that would be incredible.
Pete and Travis call it a day. The only job is to collect more firewood.
The more big stuff we can find, the better, because that's the stuff that'll burn the longest.
In the new environment, everyone is feeling the strain of their OCD. But Andrew also suffers from depression. And out of nowhere, his mood turns.
I just got a real bad feeling of depression. I just felt as though everybody were ignoring me again. I think people don't want to start a conversation because they hate my voice. I think why would you go over there and talk to that absolute idiot? We've got some nice, more normal people to walk along with and talk to. I think somebody says to me something like, you you've got to put your food in a bear box or something, or a bear would come and eat it. And I just simply said I really wouldn't care if it did, and I still feel a little bit like that at times. And I meant it. At times I really wouldn't care if a bear did eat me.
I just woke up, everyone's still asleep, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. Part of me wants to go and build a fire and start some hot water so when they wake up they'll be comforted with those things. But then there's another part of me that says that I wouldn't be doing them any favors by making it too plush.
I slept absolutely horrifically. It was the worst sleep I've ever had in my life.
I'm not made for this. I'm like a city boy. This is terrible. No one slept because it's just cold and wet and sucks.
Yeah. I hope I feel a bit better today, man. You are? Felt hideous yesterday around here. Felt so rejected of that. 3 nightmares about getting rejected again.
What, last night?
3 separate ones.
What are we having for breakfast? What do you want for breakfast? Not fish and chips again. We can't do it.
I don't know what there's going to be. There's some like oatmeal to make porridge, so porridge if that's a possibility.
You should really have porridge when you're down here anyway, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
This is porridge territory.
That was good. Spurred on by talking to Andrew, Jack sums up the courage to eat some too. It's a massive step forward after last night's rice ordeal.
For me, I feel already I've regained my dignity, regardless of what happens now. I'll have a hell of a lot more independence, I think. So I feel like when it comes down to making food, preparing food, you know, doing things like breakfast, porridge in the morning, stuff like that, I feel like it'll be stuff that I'll be able to do entirely on my own, and you know, it makes me feel obviously better about myself.
Sorry, Andrew.
With breakfast over, it's time to pack up and hit the trail. The 4-mile hike is intended to focus their energy and stop OCD taking over, as they have to keep going until the next camp. Following Andrew's low point the night before, Pete's giving him responsibility as trek leader.
I can completely see why Pete and Travis brought us out here. I mean, some people might be sitting there thinking, they've got OCD, you know, why do they want to trek? What is the point of this? Is walking to cure it or something? But everybody's OCD adapts to where you are. And if you're able to fight it when you're cold and you're hungry and you're tired, then you're a very strong person, really. That's all I have to say.
Like really cute looking.
And while trekking, OCD expert Travis wants to use the time to work with Josh. So far, they've tackled his symmetry OCD by encouraging him to go for as long as possible before repeating an action. On the first day, he could barely wait 5 minutes. A day later, he pushed through to 10. Now, after fist-bumping Travis with his left hand, he's desperately trying not to do the same with his right. Despite the extreme heat and unfamiliar terrain, he's trying to hold off for a painstaking 25 minutes.
We're at 23.5 minutes.
Oh my god,
It's the longest Josh you've ever gone without doing a ritual. Can you give me a number for your anxiety? 7. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 25 minutes.
Josh has reached his target, but instead of ending his pain, he decides to keep on going. And Travis is stunned.
He's just pushing and pushing and pushing himself to go further and further, even though he's having a really extreme panic attack right now. You want us to hike, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're nearly on 29, Travis.
Couple seconds for 29 minutes.
Amazing.
Right, just keep going. You got 10. I'll get kept on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Come on, Josh.
2, 1.
Yes!
Good job.
Oh my god!
30 minutes, Josh.
Half an hour is incredible.
30 minutes. You go do whatever you need to do right now. Probably collapse.
That's just so much for me, and I can do so much with that. I can do so much, just everything with that. So I'm really, really happy.
For some of them, they realize they have 9 days to make an impact. They are terrifying themselves over and over and over again. And imagine how exhausting that is. They're completing an ultra marathon here.
Josh's triumph spurs everyone on to keep trekking.
How's everyone doing? Good?
Massive.
But an hour later, walking along a cliff edge proves too much for Jack and triggers another side to his OCD. Not germs this time, but intrusive thoughts about harming people. Something the group haven't seen before.
I know we're getting higher, so the higher we get, the more dangerous it gets, the more the intrusive thoughts are going to come.
Although Jack has never harmed anyone, he's had thoughts like this before, which cause him to panic. And as he can't stop until the next camp, he uses skills he's learnt so far to face his fears out loud.
Maybe I could push someone down.
Yeah.
Maybe I could push someone down. Maybe I could push someone down. Maybe I could push someone down. Maybe I could push Olivia down the hill. Maybe I could push Megan down the hill. Maybe I could push Olivia down the hill.
As soon as they reach camp, Jack removes himself from the group.
He was down on the dock, and I went down and said, "What's going on?" And he said, the images are so loud. He was having thoughts of harming Imogen, beating her up, of punching her in the face. And it was just this intrusive image over and over of I think her kind of on her knees and him just beating on her. I think Jack is so pissed off and frustrated and angry that OCD has robbed him of his life. And it's robbed him of the things that he loves.
The worst of Jack's panic attack may be over, but it's really shaken him up.
Like, it made me cry. It made me really, really, really cry. I've not cried like that since I was a kid. There's absolutely a direct link between the fact that we're kind of getting towards the end a little bit now. At home, I've got, like, my mum, I've got my dad, I've got my brother, I've got family, I've got, you know, a couple of really good friends. But they understand it to a point. They understand it to a good point as well, because they've all lived with it for so long, but they don't get it in the same way that those 5 people that are cooking dinner right now do.
Is that a splint?
Yeah. It's like a broken leg. Oh no, it did not work. I forgot that the boiling water would totally melt the adhesive.
It's been an emotionally charged day for everyone, but Josh at least wants to celebrate reaching a personal best.
Fuck me! Jesus Christ.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's cold. That's cold. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it.
Oh my
god! As the group settle down for the night, nature calls for Olivia. Her contamination OCD means she's terrified of smelling badly, and she now has to face her worst fear, a dirty, smelly long drop loo out in the woods.
You're allowed to tell me how bad it is.
I didn't sit on the seat, and I just tried not to look down the hole.
I'm just gonna look. Ugh, that is rank. Oh my god. How did anyone get changed in there? Ooh. I don't think I can use that. No, it's disgusting.
Okay, you want to just go for it?
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense. I know this is huge. This is, I think, the hardest thing we've done so far, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll just have to use it.
This is the one place Travis can't hold her hand. She's got to do this on her own.
Are you okay? How you doing?
I haven't moved. Oh god, I don't want to go near the door.
Say when.
Olivia has come through her biggest challenge yet. It's a massive victory over her OCD.
I was about to be sick. Like, being in the room was just absolutely horrific. It was so bad. I think I could probably use anything now because that was so bad. Normal life is going to be so much easier.
Good job, okay? What did you call it? Olivia just did the single hardest exposure literally of her entire life. She used that toilet,
That
which
is not a toilet, that is a cesspit.
10 out of 10.
Good work. Campfire lit, they reflect on their achievements so far.
Like high points, probably leading the trek because I felt quite, quite important, I suppose, leading it. And also having my photo done with Megan and Imogen. I don't really have any friends, I lost touch with everybody, and I don't really get a chance to have many photos done, so, to have a photo done with two, really nice girls. Something that's...
There'll be many more.
Yeah, loads more.
When you first learned about this program, that you were going out in the woods for some sort of camp, what did you think about that?
I think for me, the trek I always thought was going to be the hardest point because I get so tired so easily, so I thought that actually by doing this would kind of help push my OCD to try and eat more because I can't do a lot because I run out of energy so quickly.
There's things out here which you can't do in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
It's being in a doctor's office. It's a total sterile environment, and this environment, it brings out the best in people, but it also brings out the worst in people. But you need to see both those sides of people to actually try and get better.
Next morning and time for another trek. But no one's in a hurry to get started.
Good morning, everybody! Good morning! Good morning! Hello! Good morning! Big Bear. Big Bear. What happens to a beautiful
What is it with Americans?
day?
So happy, Americans. Just give us a morning. God!
Oh, go have your morning out there. Look at the mountains. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I looked at it loads.
After their rude awakening, Pete decides to check in on their progress, American style.
So let's start with a personal weather report. So we'll just go around really quick and just tell us how you guys are doing right now in this moment.
Heat wave. I don't know why. I like it. It's nice.
I am having a rainbow. So some sun with quite a bit of rain.
I'm having a sunny day. Just a good day.
I am sunny with a couple of clouds moving in from the west, which will hopefully pass on by and continue being sunny.
Like rain forecasting thunder.
I've always got really thick black clouds over me, but it's one of them days where I think a decent amount of sun is getting through. So.
After a mixed report, Pete hits them with what they're doing today.
Okay, so we're hiking to Moore Point, and if everyone can look out this way, you see that huge cliff right there? And how there's a little plateau at the top? That's where the trail goes. We're gonna go right over that. So we have a hill to climb. This will be your first wilderness campsite, completely wilderness campsite. No privies, no picnic tables, no shelter, nothing. What do you think, Imogen?
Yay!
Today is kind of all about pacing. You know, fighting OCD is kind of a lifetime challenge, and that you're going to be best positioned to do that if you pace yourself.
They have a long way to go, but only minutes in, the cliff edge proves too much for Megan. Thoughts of her family being harmed are coming thick and fast.
What just popped into your mind?
When we climbed that hill then,
Okay.
like, picture my dad like falling down and hitting his head.
Okay.
It's just, I just keep seeing it over and over again. Him,
It's just cycling.
yeah, and him just lying there lifeless at the bottom. I just feel so guilty and stressed.
Megan would normally deal with her panic attack by constantly repeating good thoughts in her head. But now, she's determined to ride out her obsessions in an attempt to break the torturous cycle.
It keeps flashing in my mind.
Okay, I just want you to try to stay with it. Try not to distract yourself or shift away from it, okay?
When I get anxious though, it's just like a mess in my head.
It's kind of a jumble.
Yeah, I can't check if they're okay.
Yep. Yeah, being out here almost makes the exposure harder because you
Really
can't
hard.
just call them or
Like,
run to the other room.
He could have just like dropped down somewhere and I have no idea.
Right. Is that image still cycling?
It's like a 5 now.
5? Okay. You still haven't ritualized?
No,
Good. You're doing a great job. Good work.
thank you.
All right.
That was the most anxious I got. So I've achieved more than I thought. Initially I wanted to just have a minute of a day without OCD, but now I feel like I can do a lot more than that.
After a couple of hours, it's mission accomplished, and the troop reached the top.
And your big bear?
But for Andrew, there's one last mountain to climb. So far at camp, he's been helped with his fear of rejection.
Can we sit here?
Yeah.
But it's a crippling fear of the number 13 that causes him the most problems. And Pete wants to address that now. He uses the nearest thing to hand to trigger it. Andrew's camera.
Bring up menu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I'm on there.
Okay, so that was another exposure right there?
Just doing that. Toggle between them a few times, turn it on and off about 4 times, and each of them times it'd be a complex movement between different items, carefully planned out. Turn it off then. Obviously we'd have to turn it back on, do that whole process again, turn it off, turn it back on.
Okay. Can you stop yourself from doing that?
Yeah, I don't intend to.
Andrew's OCD about 13 is so strong, even the smallest link can trigger it.
Tell me one more time, just so I know for sure why program is a problem.
Program is a problem because it ends in M, and M is the 13th letter in the alphabet. So by going on program, we're just coming into contact with 13.
So you're going to go to program?
Yep.
And talk me through. Tell me what's going on. Okay.
Yep.
What's happening in your head?
Yeah, there is something in my mind now telling me that, you know, there's something not quite right. if I have a really bad bout of depression for whatever reason over the next few days, that is the time that I'm going to be likely to grab it and do it. It's just about sticking with it. I can easily do all this now, as horrible as it is, but the hard part is going to be not getting tempted to try and rectify it.
Oh, you will be tempted. You absolutely will be. This is a lot like the other exposures we've done before at Islandwood, isn't it?
Oh, I will be tempted.
Yeah.
Because it just adds to, it's just going to be on my mind. It's just something.
Yeah. So the question is, right now, Andrew, are you willing to tolerate all of that stress?
Yeah, because I feel really positive. If I were at home now, I'd say no. I'd not. Because I'm positive and I'm with lots of people and I've got exciting things happening. So.
Good.
So I'm prepared to.
Well done.
Thank you, yeah. I think what I've learned for Pete and Travis is that although number 13 is a big issue and a lot of things centre around it, that is more like a covering point for the fact that I've got like no independence, no friends, no social life, and this has really, really opened my eyes. And I know for a fact that if I did build up a social life and keep in touch with everybody, then that actually is an indirect way of combating 13, because the more confident I feel, the less likely I feel compelled to have to hide behind routines from everything.
With the toughest part of the trek over, it takes one last push for the team to reach their final camp spot. After 2 days of trekking, it's a major achievement.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, you guys can just do whatever you want for a while.
And
enjoy.
While the others relax, it's more exposure time for Jack and Imogen.
Need to go just a little bit.
As fear of food is such a major part of their OCD, it's down to them to make dinner.
So move it back like maybe a centimetre or so.
Jack's starting to cope with preparing meals outdoors, but Imogen's problems stem from the types of food she's exposed to. And on tonight's menu, there's one that triggers her OCD thoughts of harm.
I cannot eat pizza because it is a bad food, which my OCD has decided, which really sucks because it is like my favourite thing, and that just shows how horrid OCD can be. Like, why can we not just have something grim or meaty every night? Why are we having pizza for the 3rd time since we've been here?
I think it's a personal thing against you.
Yeah, I think it is as well. I think someone's out to get me.
It's absolutely horrible. And when it affects something like food, people don't realise, do they? People don't get how, it's kind of one of the biggest things in our lives.
You better tell me it smells disgusting, and when you're eating...
It does smell disgusting, I ain't gonna eat it. But, I'm in the same camp as you.
I hate to say it, but OCD is one of these things that doesn't actually go away. I think you can learn to control it, but it's always going to be part of you, and that sucks. But you don't have to be that person, because you can take a stand, and one day I hope that I will be able to go into a restaurant and order anything I want, eat it and not feel bad, and then maybe the next day, if I've got a job, something, and I'm feeling a bit stressed, I'll tap my desk before I leave, and I'll just think to myself, I'm stressed. I tap my desk, it's done, and then carry on life as normal. So overall, you've got a hand on it, and you're okay.
It's the final day in Washington's wilderness. No one's going to miss the cold and damp, or unwelcome guests in the night.
You're all dead asleep. Josh is snoring, and all of a sudden I hear this, what? And I go over there, and Jack he's vertical.
I've never moved quicker in my entire life because a mouse ran onto my face and into my sleeping bag. So the mouse literally goes down my sleeping bag, so I've just got literally...
We need a little bit of wildlife on this trip.
The end of the trek may be a welcome relief for some.
I got 2 blisters and a black toenail. It's obviously because of all that walking we've done.
But despite the woods being tough, the thought of going home is even tougher.
They're going home tomorrow. Wow, they're going home tomorrow. Or at least they're going to be out of our hands tomorrow.
For me, I think I'm maybe taking it harder than the majority are here. I feel very scared, I feel very anxious, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to anything of going home.
After Josh's great achievement at camp, he's desperate to get home and for the first time be more open with his friends about OCD.
I think that's one of my biggest regrets. Instead of just being honest with them, I just got scared and lied to them. I really, really do miss them. I hope that this trip will help me just to get out there, get back there, rekindle some old friendships, and hopefully make some new ones as well.
With less than 24 hours to go, Imogen wants to use the time as best she can. Up to now, she's been able to hold an M&M to her lips for just a few seconds. Despite her intense fear that this could bring harm to her family, she's going to take the risk and see how much further she can go.
Okay, that was 6 minutes.
I think back to like when I first had that M&M in my hand and I could hold it to my lips for 2 seconds. I was so scared. And now I can hold it for like 10 minutes.
She is jumping leaps and bounds ahead.
Imogen's confidence is at an all-time high, so she pushes herself one step further.
Almost spontaneously, she stuck out her tongue.
Oh, Imogen.
What this means is it's just a huge amount of hope and confidence for progress.
With over 4 hours to kill in the van, Imogen's triumph with the M&M inspires Jack to go further than he's ever been too. Up until just a few days ago, sharing a water bottle would have been unthinkable, but today he's willing to give it a try.
You gonna be the sipper?
I'll be the sipper. Oh, is this a brand new bottle?
It's a brand new bottle.
Oh, it's a shame.
It is a bloody shame.
That was a little bit more than a sip.
Fair
Is that
enough.
okay?
Yep.
Cap it and hand it back?
Hand it back. I've seen Pete brush his teeth as well yesterday, so I know that it's a good teeth brusher. So that makes everything a hell of a lot easier. But it always
I didn't this morning, though.
Okay.
No, that's cruel.
Yes. Well done.
Well done.
What's your number right now?
About 6.5.
The group wait anxiously for Jack's panic to rise, but it doesn't.
A week ago, that'd probably been like an 8 or 9, but I think because it's been 3 days of just being dirty and going through all the other exposures, it's kind of, yeah, it feels lower, it feels more manageable. I don't want to be like eating out of toilets when I get home, but I want to at least be able to eat within at least be able to eat within 100 yards of one.
Yeah.
American road trips, that's what you do. Apparently you change on American road trips. Cue music.
Sit there in your heartache, waiting on some beautiful girl to save you from your old ways. Watch him now, here he comes.
The highs and lows of OCD Camp have affected everyone. But it's clear this roller coaster ride isn't over when Andrew's mood suddenly turns again.
You know you've made 5 friends for life, like we all have.
I don't fit in like everybody else.
You do. Yes, you do.
You never will do. There's just no point in carrying on. I'm just fed up.
How many people in this van have ever been in a place where you didn't feel like fighting anymore?
Twice today.
Yeah.
2 times today.
How many times today? I appreciate everything that every nice person has ever done for me, but there's just too many bad people for me to cope with. I can't cope in life. There's too many things I just can't cope.
But if the bad people are bad, then they're not worth bothering with.
Yeah, but it might not be them people that are bad, it's me that nobody likes.
As well as it just being because I was worried that people weren't listening to me and talking to me, I think it was that sense of, you know, it's all changing in 2 days, the end's coming now, and I think it just threw me. I'm actually really sad about going home, because I've not got much of a life back home. So obviously I'm extremely worried that I might end up just going back to how I were. If I can just stay in touch with these people and build on what I've learned, then hopefully I can move forward.
It's just bad days, man. Bad days, good days. And you have loads more bad days and good days. But you're glad you came, aren't you?
Oh, of course I am.
Yeah. So it was this week was
the best
better.
thing I've done in my whole life.
There's a level of worry that I have for all of them, that we can't take them home with us. We're not moving to the UK. That they're on their own.
From tomorrow, they'll be battling with their OCD alone. So Pete has a keepsake for them all, to help remember what they've learnt.
We have something for you. And it's a little dragon charm. Eleanor Roosevelt said a really great thing, which was, do something that scares you every day. So when you look at this, I encourage you to think about that.
I reckon the trip's probably the best decision I've made so far, I think, in my life probably. There's kind of 2 ways I can look at this. I can look at it as like an amazing, brilliant experience and an opportunity to set myself up, hopefully for the rest of my life, in a really positive way. Or I can just drop back to old habits. It's a really great opportunity to go home and finally start living.
I've got a long way to go, but like I said, when I first came here, I just needed that one big push just to get me going again. And I've been given a bigger push than I expected. I want that degree that I personally think that I truly deserve. And I want that job that I deserve, and I want that life that I deserve, so it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when, really.
I've had fish all over my hands, I've had onions all over my hands, I've used the most disgusting toilets in the world, and no one has stayed away from me. Everyone has been very close, no one has been disgusted. My independence has massively improved. Like, the one thing that I came out here to mainly do was just be able to make decisions on my own.
I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't have the opportunity to do this earlier, because I think I'd have had a much easier life. I still care the same amount about my family, obviously, but I'm learning that it's not my job to look after them as much as I do in my head.
There are people here who have the same fears that I have. And I always thought I was alone, and I always thought, what is wrong with me? People do understand. It'll kind of hopefully give you a little boost in the morning just to press on and work that bit harder to get where you want to be in life.
You know what, I really did do it, I achieved it. I managed to survive without my mum, on my own, sharing bedrooms with people, you know, hot tubs. I've done all this in a country at the other side of the world. If you'd asked most people if I could achieve that, but I've done it, so it's another thing I've proved them wrong with.
Yeah.
And to say thank you, there's also a present for Pete.
It's
seemed like if we give you this, we had the final say on nationalities.
Thank you, guys.
They may have survived camp, but their greatest challenge is yet to come. Whether they can fight their OCD back home. Back in England, Jack's wish for independence is slowly becoming a reality.
Ladies first.
Including going to restaurants with a good friend and her son.
Thanks up. Cheers. Things have changed. It's like, you know, when I'm outside, I'm not wearing gloves. I'm not quite so obsessive about sell-by dates on food.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm eating off plates quite regular.
You still can't use normal cutlery?
No, I mean, I want to try it. Everything about me wants to try using the regular cutlery today, because I actually feel quite good for it.
Yeah.
But I know it's probably a little bit of a step too far. Because I'm getting there slowly. I'm a million miles away from where I want to be. But then also
you're a million miles further than you were.
Despite still having a strong fear of germs, he's now more hands-on than ever before.
Nice to just sit here and have like a little cuddle with one. I mean, obviously I'm going to wash my hands afterwards, but it's still nice to be able to at least try and do it. When I'm going through the things I'm going through, I'm able to deal with them in a lot calmer fashion, really. It's not quite chaotic, so chaotic. I didn't choose this, I didn't choose this life, I didn't choose this horrible, horrible condition. But I do choose to get better from it.
Sorry.
As for Imogen, life since camp has been a fresh start.
I wouldn't say it's the end of my OCD, I'd say it's the beginning of my new way of looking at OCD.
Each day is a battle, but she's trying to tap less and less.
Obviously I am still scared a lot, you know, there are things that I think to myself, oh my god, I can't do this. I think it's always going to be a monster in the back of my head, but hopefully it won't come out so much.
Imogen is also fighting her intrusive thoughts that stop her eating and drinking what she wants.
I can drink tea and coffee, not hot chocolate yet, and M&Ms I'm still working with. I haven't been able to eat a whole M&M yet. I think I usually get like maybe a quarter and then end up having to chuck it, but you know, we're getting there.
Since the return from camp, Olivia is pushing herself every day to overcome her extreme fear of smells.
So it's going to have 2 pieces of salmon, like in a piece. The thing I'm most proud of since I've got back is I think I used to take maybe 20 photos a day on my phone of toilets and dirty seats and things that I thought were dirty for reassurance. And I've taken 3 in maybe 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Great presentation skills.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel more positive about the future now.
As for Megan, her OCD had caused her to drop out of university. But since going to camp, she's back.
I feel now I can actually have a normal life and get a normal job like everyone else. Because if I couldn't do uni, I think I felt like I couldn't do anything.
How are you? Okay.
Camp has had a massive impact, like a really positive impact on my life. I get the same number of thoughts, but I know now how to deal with the anxiety and not ritualise. So I feel really positive about my future.
See ya.
Andrew's OCD had made him almost a recluse. Now his confidence is building every day.
I've been trying to take Pippi out or go to the shop every day. That's kind of like an exposure to get me more confident in being out. I've got a lot less will to do routines when I feel as though I've got a life outside of the house.
And it wasn't just the camp that made an impact, but the people he was with.
Making them friends in America meant a lot to me. See, like there, 6 notifications. It's been pretty much 0 for 3 years straight, so when I get like 7 or 8 every day, it's quite nice. It's made me realise that I can make friends and maintain friends. I typed that on 30 minutes past. Ugh. I'm not going to let it get me down too much. I'm just going to try and ignore it best I can. The number 13 it still is a big part of my identity, but I think I can realise more now that it doesn't have to be.
Oh, where's that going?
As for Josh, his symmetry OCD had prevented him getting a job. After the camp, things have changed.
2 minutes on that vehicle, chef, yeah?
Cool. It's like, someone says, yes, chef, it's like, who are you talking to? Makes you feel good, definitely, yeah. My OCD seems to be a lot less active when I'm constantly doing things and constantly sort of being stressed. I mean, it's a job that I really, really think I could sort of thrive in. To be able to come back from the camp and just say, I can do that actually, yeah, and go for it. It's a massive step.
And the job isn't the only good news.
Since getting back, I'm seeing someone, yeah. She's awesome, I'm awesome, all good.